Once upon a time in a kingdom far, far away, there was a princess who was known for her luscious golden locks that reached down to her ankles. Every night before going to sleep, she would braid her hair, placing the two braids over her shoulders like golden ropes. But one night her hair didn't behave. No matter how hard she tried, the braids refused to stay in place. Frustrated, the princess let out a loud sigh and flung the braids over her head. They landed with a soft thud on the floor, and to her astonishment, they began to move. The braids slithered across the room, growing longer and thicker like some kind of hairy caterpillars. Startled by this sudden movement, the princess let out a scream that echoed through the castle. Hearing his daughter scream, the king rushed into her room, only to be met with a sight that defied belief. The princess's hair had transformed into a giant snake, coiling around the room. It hissed at the king, its forked tongue darting out. Terrified, the king stumbled back, tripping over his own feet and falling to the floor. The snake slithered closer, its eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light. It opened its mouth wide, revealing rows upon rows of sharp fangs. And then it struck. The king felt a searing pain in his leg and collapsed, succumbing to the venom of the princess's hair snake. The princess watched in horror as her father turned into a frog and hopped away. Overwhelmed with grief and self-blame, she fell to her knees and wept. Just then, a wise old woman appeared at the doorway. "Don't cry, my child," she said, her voice echoing with kindness. "Your tears will only make things worse." The princess looked up, her eyes red and swollen. "How can I stop this, good woman? How can I undo what has been done?" The old woman approached the princess and placed a hand on her shoulder. "You must journey to the land of eternal twilight," she said, "and retrieve the legendary sun weaver's tears. Only those tears can break the curse." The princess, determined to save her father and undo the harm she had caused, set off on her journey. Her quest took her through dense forests and across vast mountains. Along the way, she encountered talking animals, mischievous fairies, and wise old trees who all offered her guidance and support. Finally, she reached the land of eternal twilight, a place where the sun never shone and the moon hung heavy in the sky like a watchful eye. Here she met the Sun Weaver, an ethereal being who wept tears of gold. Moved by the princess's tale, the Sun Weaver agreed to help her. She dipped her head and a single tear rolled down her cheek, catching the moonlight and transforming into a shimmering vial. The princess quickly hid the vial in her dress and returned home. Upon reaching her room, she poured the Sun Weaver's tears onto her hair snake. As the liquid touched the snake, it began to writhe and thrash about. The princess held on tight, bracing for the transformation. Suddenly, the snake stopped moving. The princess cautiously uncoiled the snake, and to her joy, it had turned back into her hair. Rushing to the bathroom, she braided her hair, the golden strands cascading down her shoulders like a waterfall. The princess then raced to the king's chamber. There she placed a kiss on his forehead, and with a jolt, he transformed back into a human. The king, overjoyed to have his daughter back, hugged her tightly. He had no idea that she had saved him by becoming a frog. And so, with the Sun Weaver's tears, the princess and the king lived happily ever after. They ruled the kingdom with wisdom and kindness, always remembering the importance of compassion and understanding. And whenever the princess looked at her reflection in the mirror, she saw not just a beautiful princess, but a hero who had faced her fears and saved her kingdom. And that, my little friends, is the story of the princess and the hairy snake.